Hi, everybody. Welcome to Reignite Your Path and Passion. This is a jumpstart platform for women 40 plus, and you might be younger too. That's fine. We're supporting everybody here, or maybe you're even a man that slipped in the door. That's great. But we're here to just help you find some clarity, to help reignite that beautiful passion you have, and to make that shift that you've been wanting to make for a long time. So we're here to support you. We have some amazing speakers. I'm the host, Mitta Wise. I'm in Los Angeles, originally from New Zealand, a hypnotherapist and empowerment coach. But today we are concentrating on someone very special. We have Christine Blosdale in the house. Hi, Christine.
Hello, hello.
Welcome, welcome. So, Christine is an expert authority business coach, and her topic today is share your passion with a podcast. And are you looking to amplify your message and reach your target audience in a big way? Christine is here to help. With over 25 years of experience, she specializes in providing laser-focused coaching, strategies, and motivation for clients looking to make a big impact in their respective fields. Whether you're looking to create more engaging content such as a podcast, a TikTok channel, reels, promotional videos, and books, or you simply want to grow your online presence, Christine has the experience and knowledge to help you achieve your goals. Let her help you amplify your expertise and reach the audience that will benefit from your message. She's worked with thought leaders, coaches, best-selling authors, and social media influencers from around the globe. She has a unique and fun coaching style. I can vouch for that. I work with her. She's already helped countless people get the visibility and attention they deserve, and you too can benefit and will benefit from her expert guidance and support. So thank you for being here today, Christine.
Thank you. Thank you. That
Yes.
was very well done.
Well, the expert authority business coach, that's what you have on your website, and that's who you are. And you say, meet the expert authority business coach who gets you the attention you deserve, which I love, by the way. But tell us a little bit more about how did you get here? What's your journey? What's been your journey? Tell us
Mm.
more.
Well, it's been a long and winding road. Um, I think back to the days when I was, getting out of high school and trying to figure out, as we all do, like, what am I gonna do? What am I supposed to do? And back in those days, it was sort of a given to once you graduated to go on to university, to go on to college, and really to figure things out. And so initially, I wanted to be a teacher, and I am a teacher. I mean, I'm a modern day teacher, but through coaching, because I love teaching people new things, and I learned things along the way, and so I like to share that information. So when I was going to college, I wanted to become a teacher, and then I saw what they were paying teachers when they first came out and where they sent them, and oh, I was like, oh, that's no, 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 no. So so I actually switched gears quite a bit and started off in personal fitness, because I used to watch, back in those days, aerobics was really big, and I would watch, Jane Fonda and, like, all these people. I said I could do that. And so that was getting me through college. And then I really loved the whole idea of being a coach. I was a fitness coach, but I loved being a coach. And I loved motivating people and seeing the change that can happen to them physically, emotionally, all of that, the growth that they had. And so my life sort of just took a little bit of a wander for a bit. And I found that I really loved creating. I think that teacher, producer, coach, creator was just being born and massaged back in those early days. And so I got a really great opportunity to work for America Online. Now, back in those days, America Online was it. It was the TikTok of its generation, and it was really the only thing that you had. You had that weird sounding, message when you opened up your email. You've got mail, and it was the thing. And so I had a great opportunity to write for them, and I wrote a daily column called the Daily Fix, and I wrote through a cartoon character because I figured nobody really wanted to know what Christine Blosdale wants to say, but this character that I created, this vampy, campy, head a hopper sort of entertainment gossip, columnist, um, Beatbox Betty. They would like to hear from her, and so that's what I did. Is I wrote through a different name, and I had a really popular column. I loved it. I got to go to all the Hollywood premieres and everything. And then 9/11 happened, and it was one of those self-reflection moments where once that happened, I said, like, who cares, what Drew Barrymore is wearing, or who's dating who, and what Angelina Jolie, who really, what in the big scheme of things, right? What am I doing? And so I had a little bit of it's not a dark night of the soul, but a searching, really. And it was one of those crazy things where I'm just, channel surfing in Los Angeles. If you're driving anywhere in Los Angeles, you've got to commute and you've got traffic. And so I was stuck in traffic and I was just hitting the dial, and I came across this radio station that was so unique. And during 9/11, there was a lot of fear and chaos that was happening in the media. And so I listened to this radio station, KPFK in Los Angeles, and it was so unique and it was so different. And it was actually people saying what they felt and analyzing things and going, well, wait a second, let's see, let's look at our history in the Middle East. Let's actually look and see what we've done, and instead of just being the victim. And at that time, it was like unheard of, right? So I said, well, this is really interesting. I need to go to that radio station right now and thank everybody, because I do believe very much in giving feedback to people, especially when I'm really moved. And so I actually drove to the radio station and I walked in and I asked the receptionist. I said, you don't know me. I said, but is it all right if I tell people just thank you for the work that they've done? Walk in, and there's no security. There was no security at that time. They're like, sure, go ahead. Probably today would be a little bit different, but I just walked through the hallways and I just poked my head in the different offices, and I didn't go into the studio. There's just all these different production offices, and I stuck my head in and said, I just want to say thank you. You're doing a great job. And they were really taken aback because I think they're used to getting complaints. We're all used to getting complaints, but very rarely does somebody actually take the time to say something constructive and positive. So from there, they just said, so what do you do? I said, I'm a cartoon character who writes entertainment column for America Online. And I don't know, I'm not really happy with that. And they just said, why don't you think about volunteering? And I had never thought of that. And I said, oh. And they needed writers because they had no writers at all. It was all off the top of their heads. And so I started volunteering a couple of days a week. That parlayed into somebody's leaving. We could, they paid horribly, absolutely horribly. And I ended up getting a job there, working very few hours, and then it became more. And then we became union, and we got workers' rights. And the story goes, basically, I was there for 20 years and was not only a writer but also a producer of drive time programming. And then it's that story, that Hollywood story, when the main actress broke her leg, and you got to go on camera or you got to go on stage, and you're the understudy, and you're like, no, I'm not ready. I don't think I'm ready for this. No, you need to go because the host is not able to do the show. And so I very begrudgingly, because I was like, I'm behind the scenes, I'm a producer, I'm a writer, and I got in there, the light turned on, the on-air light turned on, and I just started talking. And I fell in love with radio. I fell in love with the art of audio and the interview and meeting people and asking them questions. And it really just took me in a completely different course. And so that's what I did. I did for many, many years, hosted shows, raised money for the station, as you know. And from there, just kept going. Met my beautiful wife. She found me on Instagram. I was in America. She's in Australia. And somehow destiny had it that I was able to come here to Australia. And I was working with clients, I was doing media coaching, I was doing all that good stuff. And of course, podcasting was a natural parlay, because with radio, you say you have a great interview or you do something amazing, but it goes out into the airwaves and it's gone. It really, it's, they have archives now, but it's pretty much terrestrial radio. It goes out and it's done. And so I really love the idea of a podcast because it's captured and people can access it anytime. I've got shows that are 7 years old and people are still commenting on them and listening to them. So I really loved that genre, and
Wow.
dove into it 100%. And that's where I am now. So I help people get into the media, get their message out to the media, but also use a podcast to promote their it's not just to promote their business, but also to inform and educate and motivate people. So that's the long story of how I got to where I'm at right now.
Oh, that's great. And I know you raised a lot of money when you were at KPFK. You were called the $20 million woman or something like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did about I ended up at towards the end there about 1.5 million per
Wow.
year. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Good for you. And that story helps people too, like to talk about taking brave steps and, going for your dreams and things like that. So that's a really inspiring story, actually. So why podcasting? Tell us a little bit more. Like, why is it important?
It's probably, I would say, for the first time in human history, we have the tools in front of us to share our messages, our inspiration, our stories, right? We're able to share them on a much larger scale. And the variety of those stories, um, there's a there's a term in media and it's programming, right? And programming is television programming or radio programming. And what programming is, in many respects, for those of you, it is programming. But basically, the olden days was you turned it on. If you turned on ABC, CBS, NBC, or the radio station that you love, whatever it is, KFI, KPFK, and you got whatever they were delivering at that moment, right? If you're driving at 5 o'clock, you know who the host is, but you don't really know what they're going to be talking about necessarily. But it was what they were feeding the world, the public. And with podcasting, what I love about it is that you have control of what you want to consume through your ears. Vodcasting is just the video version of the podcast, so that would be like on YouTube and things like that, or even TikTok. But it's basically, it was the first time that we were able to access the content that we wanted. So there's some folks that are huge true crime fans, or certain fiction that they love reading those books, and now they get to actually listen to the podcast version of that. There's folks who love comedy. There's folks who need that inspiration or motivation because they're feeling, my goodness, life is really kind of crazy right now, and I could really use some inspirational sort of content. So it was for the first time we were able to access our own programming, and that's what I really loved about it. And as a tool, as a marketing tool, it's very powerful, but more than just marketing, as a communication tool. Um, there's a lot of power in our voice, and especially when you don't see somebody. I mean, right now we're recording on video so people can look at you. But what I loved about radio, and what I love about podcasting, but what I really loved about the idea of radio, is nobody knew what I looked like. They would be driving in their car, and so they would only hear my breath that I would take. They would only hear the pauses. So if someone was telling me a story and it was quite moving, I would take a pause. Of course, the program director would run in from the other side of the station and go, "Why is there why is there silence?" It's because I was moved, or you could hear if I was emotional about listening to something. And so the power of radio and the power of podcasting, the power of that audio, is so immense. It's so immense. Um, an example was I think way back, the War of the Worlds. That was an Orson Welles production, and people were freaking out thinking that we have been invaded by Martians, and it was all done as a radio drama. People who tuned in at a certain point didn't realize because they thought it was so real, right? That's how powerful it is. So I think that as a tool, it's incredible. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need a big studio. You need a good microphone, maybe a headset. Don't even have to have the headphones, but a really good microphone, and the world is your oyster. You can spread your message wherever. You just got to do it.
Yeah, and do it with your passion, right? Whatever brings you passion, and you want to deliver that in that way.
Yeah.
And you talk about also vodcast videos, though, right?
Yes. Well, because video is, in our time frame of where we're in right now, video is king or queen, however you want to put it. The popularity of TikTok and uh, Instagram Reels and things like that. It's just that our attention span has kind of shrunk a little bit, so that's why those short videos are doing really well. But those platforms, TikTok and Facebook, they're realizing that people want more. It's not, they're not just doing that 15-second hit. Yeah, that's fine for an entertainment angle, but really people want more story, and they want to listen to people's story and their journey. Weight loss channels that are on those platforms do really well because people want to know what the journey is, what the story is for this person. How did you drop 50 pounds, right? All those things. And so the vodcast is the video version where you actually get to match that voice with that person. And that's when you get to look in their eyes. And that is the very powerful thing, because if you're a coach or a consultant or a trainer, someone who is trying to communicate your message to your ideal audience, audio is really powerful and important, your voice, of course, but then it's letting them look into your eyes and letting them see your expression, that you're not just a monotone robot, but you're actually a human being that has emotion and passion. And that's what I love about the video versions of vodcasting. Yeah.
Right. You coach people on this, and I know you coach people on starting their own podcast. Do you
Mhm.
also help people who want to be a guest on a podcast?
Yes, actually I did. I've written several books on just on podcasting itself. I've written three on just podcasting, on how to create a podcast if you're a beginner. Excuse me. But the last book that I wrote is called Podcast Pro, and it's a guide on how to become a guest on podcasts, but not just podcasts. How to be a guest on radio shows, how to contact those, how to contact those KPFKs, those radio stations, and say, I've got a story for you. So how to get booked on podcasts and radio shows, and some television as well. I dive into that in the book about getting booked on especially local television. There are so many outlets. There's too many outlets, but there's so many outlets that are constantly looking for content. They're looking for stories. They're looking for programming. And so I show people how to do that. And I have some clients that I walk them through that process. Number one is to make sure that they feel very comfortable being asked questions and communicating their message. And we might be really smart, we might be really educated, we might know our subject matter inside and out, but it's a different thing when you have to communicate that clearly, that message. So that's what I do. I work with them and make them feel comfortable on camera, or make them feel comfortable in front of a microphone.
That's great, because I know a lot of women in this 40 plus, that you work with a lot of women in that sort of area. So that could be also partly because you really do give of yourself and make sure people are comfortable and really support them in their tech journey, right? And their passion journey. So truly, I know that you do that. I've worked with you too. So and
That's the most important thing, is that passion. And a lot of, I have clients that are 67. I have one of my favorite clients, not the favorite, but one of my favorite clients, Barbara Savin. She's 76 years old now, and she's a Reiki master healer, hypnotherapist. Had a small practice in Los Angeles, so she could only reach so many people, right? In very time intensive work that she would do one on one. and she's always wanted to create a podcast. And here's someone who's in her mid 70s who learned a little bit of technology. I keep it simple and easy. Gave her the guidance on how to record, how to edit, and how to publish. And now she's got like over 120 episodes. She's interviewed Pat Benatar.
I know, it's
She's
amazing.
got a she's got a vodcast and a podcast, and she's just living the best life. And because she has so much to share, but she also shares the stage with others. So through her guests, she really she's just a beautiful light. So yeah, it's not just 40 plus, it's 70 plus.
Right. So you actually answered what I was going to, you answered the question I was going to ask you. What can change for people when they work with you, when they have, when they do your own podcast? And you really just sort of answered it. I mean, look how she springboarded to have all her dreams, and in a huge way, right?
Yeah,
So,
it's I think the biggest thing for and especially for women of a particular age, we're taught so much, there's so much stress and importance placed on how we look, right? It's how you look, how much you weigh, blah, blah, blah. And very, we're at a stage of life. I'm approaching 60 myself, and at a certain stage of our life, and I would say it was probably around 50, that I was like, I don't care anymore. I don't care what people think about me. I mean, I care what I do and how I impact people. I want to help people, but I don't really care if they don't like my hair or they don't. That's not important to me. The important things that come to the forefront are helping people for me and guiding people. And I think that women at a certain age, we will get to that point too, where women go, you know what? I have a lot to share. I have a lot of information, um, guidance, motivation, whatever it is that you really are passionate about, then that needs to be shared because there's somebody out there waiting for your story or waiting for your guidance. You just don't know it yet, but they are out there. I've interviewed women too who've overcome some really crazy stuff in life, and they're an inspiration to me. And I'm hoping they're an inspiration to my audience, but just to hear their story is so powerful, right? And so that's how you can change people, is through the work that you create. If you're a writer and you're creating a book, or if you're a podcaster and you're sharing stories, you can really impact people, and you may never know who you impact, but you definitely can touch and change lives. And I just love, yeah, I love seeing the creativity process. I love seeing somebody who's like, I don't know what I'm doing in front of them. I don't know how to do this. I don't know. And then all of a sudden they've got 100 episodes of a podcast out and are being interviewed themselves on shows. I love that.
right.
Absolutely.
And I love your easygoing approach. I find it really, really helpful. And it's not just easygoing, it's also effective. So it's easygoing and effective. So I really enjoy that about you and working with you.
Thank you.
One of the things that I wanted to mention that I just thought people might be also interested in, if they're interested in podcasts, and they perhaps also have a dream to have a book, they might be interested to hear about your new program or your new free event that's to do with your new free program.
Yes.
So tell
So
us a little bit about how that came about, and then tell us a little bit about those new things you have.
well, with my love of teaching people and also my love of creating, I create, so I create this book, and then I'll go and create another book, and then I'll create another book, and then I'll create another podcast, and I'll do TikToks, and I am like a little creation machine. And it's because I love doing it. I loved when I was a kid, I loved playing, we would have the neighborhood kids get together, and we would play characters from a movie. We would reenact, Grease or whatever. We would, play act, put on a show, right? And so I love putting on a show. I love putting things together. And so in addition to um, doing the video work and the podcasting and all that good stuff, I myself have ventured into writing and creating books from content that I've already created. That's the thing I try and tell people. I say, because they go, well, what do I write about? And they think that they got to sit at a typewriter with like a smoking jacket on and a, cocktail, I don't know, and sit there and pound out on a typewriter some story, some novel. And I'm like, no, you don't have to do that. You can do that if that's your calling. Some people want to do like an autobiography or something like that. But what I tell people is, you're an expert in something, whatever it is. You're an expert mom, right? You're an expert gardener. You're an expert vegetarian, whatever you're an expert in. You very well could have content that you're sitting on that you don't even realize could be a book or could be turned into a book. So they're your experiences, they're your workshops or your webinars, if you've ever conducted those. Your podcast episodes could be turned into chapters in a book. There's so much content that we have. And so I started going down the road of self-publishing. I did the road with the publisher. I decided to go and self-publish because I like to have control of everything and see everything. So I started self-publishing through Amazon, and I really love the process. I dig it, and it is a process. It's it can be complicated if you make it complicated, but as you were saying, my style, Mitta, is keep it simple, easy, and fun. If it's simple, easy, and fun, then people will do it. And if they do it, then they'll get success. And then after that success, they'll try again. They'll do something different. They'll expand what they can do. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing one-on-one coaching with people, guiding them through how to self-publish through Amazon KDP. And I don't promise them a bestseller because I don't want to do that. I don't want to promise a best-selling book, but I will tell them some ideas on how to create a best-selling campaign. And a best-selling campaign does not cost. It's not going to cost you money. It can, but you don't have to. And it's a concentrated effort, but you can become a best-selling author relatively easy. It's not as hard as you think. And back in the olden days, you had to get an agent, then you had to get a publishing deal, then you got like a penny for every book you sold, and it was a very arduous, long process. And now you can literally crank out a book every week if you wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it, but the technology is there, and that's what I love about it. I love that people are doing it more and more. And you don't have to make a big book. It could be like an itty bitty book. It could be tiny. It doesn't have to be massive. But there's a lot of really fun stuff that's happening in the future. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, you have your free event coming up too on that.
Yes. I don't know when this is going to air, but
well, that's true. It'll be after that probably, but
yeah.
But still you can do the one-on-one coaching, right?
Absolutely. And everybody, I always offer a free consultation with people. So if they want to talk about podcasting, or if they want to talk about publishing a book or doing TikToks, I always offer a free consultation because I want to talk to people and find out what it is that they want to do. Some people don't want to build a business out of this. They just want to share their wisdom and their expertise with the world. And I love that as well. Yeah. I'll work with everybody.
Right. And then what do you do daily? What do you do daily and weekly to keep you moving forward and sort of keeping your passion going? Or is it just that your work every day, just that passion is just inherent in you?
I keep myself busy with new projects. Like if I find that I'm kind of in a lull with anything, and most of my clients keep me very, very busy. Like I live through my clients. I've got such a variety of people. I've got people who are becoming first-time authors, first-time podcasters. I've got others who work with me just as a coach. Basically, they just say, "This is what's going on in my life, and what do you think?" And what's your opinion on my situation? And that's fine too. That's actually very refreshing. but I also work with people on building their little business. So showing them how to create products, services, things like that. How to zhuzh up their website, because there's some websites that they're back from the 90s. We need to update those websites, right? So because that's like your business card. Your website is your business card, so you want to make sure it looks nice. But myself, I like to learn new technology, so I'm all about learning more about AI and all the automated processes and all that. So just learning more and more and more. That's my thing.
Great. Well, you have a free gift for people. It's called the top 10 things you should be doing to promote your business. You want to just say a little about that?
Yes. So instead of it being sort of like just a PDF or a piece of paper type thing, it's actually it's about a 30-minute guided video that people can watch, and they're all my top things that I recommend to my clients. I'll ask them right away, especially if it's a small business or a coach or an organization, and they want to get the word out on their business. I'll ask them these questions. I'll talk about the website, the importance of a website, the importance of a Google My Business page, video, how powerful video is. So all those different things, the importance of networking. There's 10 things that are really, really important if you want to market your business or market your expertise and become that expert authority that we want to put out into the world. So that is my free gift, and you have the link for that as well.
The links
right?
for everyone will be, yes, below the video. All of Christine's links will be there for you to see on her speaker page when she talks, and her free gift will be one of those links down there as well. So make sure you go visit her, all of her things. It's so worthwhile. And Christine, do you have any final words of wisdom?
Just when it comes to passion, it just you definitely need to go after those dreams, even if you think, oh, don't let imposter syndrome stop you. Don't let that stop you. Do not say to yourself, well, who would want to hear from me? Right? There is somebody out there for you. There is someone that needs your story or needs your guidance. And so don't be afraid, because it might be a whole new world for you. Just like for me, it was a whole new world for me when I stepped outside of my comfort zone. And if you come from it with really good intentions, you never know what can happen.
Yeah.
You might be 20 years in broadcasting. I don't know, but definitely follow that passion, no matter where it goes.
Great words. Thank you, Christine. Look, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your words of wisdom and your tips and your stories. And we really appreciate it. I know a lot of people are going to get a lot out of this interview today. So thank you so much. And that wraps it up for this interview today. And we will see you again soon. Thanks, Christine. Bye,
Thank you,
everybody.
Mitta. Bye.